using Gorosei. Ju means 10, and from Figarland Garling, we can see that holy knights can knight themselves. So what if you were such a good holy knight that you were ushered into the 5 elder stars? Would you be given a new name? That's a genuine question. But warrior gods, let's talk about them. In Norse mythologies, there were 2 factions of warrior gods. You had the Aesir, ran by Odin, and you had the Vanir, led by Frey. The Vanir and the Aesir would consistently do battle until one day where they decided to make peace by spitting into a bucket. Gross, I know. But from that, a god was born, Kvasir, and his power was to be able to translate dreams of all the other gods, technically making him Frey's child, but also the embodied spirit of peace between the divine. Frey also ruled over Valhalla, whilst wearing an all-black falcon cloak. I believe the Valhalla of this mythology is currently the Pangaea Castle the Gorosei and Emu currently reside in. The castle that sits at the top of the tectonic plates of the destroyed realms of the former intergalactic world tree and crashed onto the Sky King planet of Uranus. And the ancient weapon Uranus's bloodline lied within Lily di Nefertari, who herself was inspired from Scheherazade. Now here's the joke. Scheherazade had a cartoon, and there were 3 princesses. Do you see the cover? I'm willing to guess that one of them is Pluton, one of them is Poseidon, the other one's Uranus. How do I think that? The first Kozuki princess, the first mermaid princess, and the first Nefertari princess. Ancient weapons were people, and these people were honored as gods according to Kalgara. Compounded with Muse explaining how her ancestors resided within holy white ancestor trees, I think this gives us a clue to the name of the ancient kingdom, the Tamashii kingdom. More later, but you're gonna love how meta that is. With the Alabastan poneglyph giving no info on any Nefertari, but instead deciding to reference Draculian lore, if we follow the connections here, then Dracul Mihawk himself is a celestial dragon, and the ghost princess Perona was foreshadowing to the person sitting on the empty throne right now. Joyboy D Nefertari is the Odin allegory, since there is no Odin in One Piece. We have a Prince Loki existing in Elbaf, and it's weird how there's no mentions of a Thor outside of Enel's named move. So what happened to Thor, and even Odin? Because the giants practice a named move called Gungnir, and that's the spear of Odin. So what if Loki of Elbaf isn't a giant at all? What if he is a Wotan? Shadow's Asgard gives me the direct inspiration for this thought train. Moria turned himself into a giant frogman for some weird reason, I don't know why. So Loki's amphibian silhouette could be explained by the mix-up of giant and fishman DNA. We know Big Pan from the Foxy Pirates canonically is the only Wotan we have, but I think Loki, Jack the Drought, and even former Vice Admiral Jaguar D. Saul are all Wotans. The Yetis seem to be a mink giant hybrid, and even the revolutionary Ushiano seems to be a mink fishman hybrid himself. One Piece is the most racially diverse shonen series to ever exist on purpose, because Oda loves hiding where fairies are, Normandy Charlotte, and vampires with Dequise and Gillette. So how much history was wiped from 800 years ago? I don't think much. Kuma's Bible has the Uranus lineage on it, and Sanji held another candidate of Uranus during Skypiea when he was holding a picture of the sepia-toned Vivi that could have been Willie Caron on the crashed St. Brice. Anything humans can imagine is a possibility in reality. And what was the alchemical symbol of Uranus again? Gold, pierced by the spear of Mars, or the spear of Odin. And what do we see on the crashed St. Brice? A sepia-toned Vivi pierced by a spear. The literal symbol of Uranus is in the sun of the sky's hands, Sora Vinsmoke. And the test name for Judge Vinsmoke was Saint Germain, who was a famous alchemist and wrote down spells for immortality. Keep game on how egregious Eiichiro Oda can be in terms of his self-referentialism, because chapter 866, the Big Mom flashback, which I really want to do highlight, because we're going to be getting into shared technology and passing down techniques through time and having time affect and crystallize those things for over an era. i.e. Haki is the force. But I'll get into that. With the Big Mom chapter, where we got confirmation that she did not experience hunger pangs until after eating semla, meaning that her entire genealogy, her entire bloodline elements were altered by the consumption of that semla. Her eyes were never red up until the moment of eating it, despite being left alone by her parents for months. As we can see that it's first snowing in this panel, and in the previous panel there's no snow. But from there, in that chapter, 866, the SBS, Oda decided to confirm a whole bunch of birthdays for people, using the prophetic technique of Gorosei. Well, what's really egregious about this is, if you focus on Kanjuro, during Whole Cake Island, we did not know that Kanjuro was a traitor or involved with any form of snake activities. But Oda decided to confirm it as July 21st. In the brackets, you can see here it's Inatsu no Isha, or Summer Doctor, using Gorosei prophecism. That is also apparently, in Oda's eyes, a Rakugo story. What a Rakugo story is, quote, Rakugo stories are usually rather long, humorous stories which can sometimes be also sentimental. The true art of Rakugo is to not simply tell the story and deliver the punchline, but to increase the comedic value by acting out the story with just the right tone and precise body gestures. And what did he do when he revealed himself as the traitor? Motherfucker smiled in the rain. Oda is egregious with this shit. That right there, what we described, was in real life One Piece syncretism, where Oda decided to fusion dance two different ideas together and make a whole brand new one. How is that connected to how real life civilizations developed over time? Well, Rome prolifically syncretized everything into their cultures. When it comes to their gods, Jupiter was just an allegory to Zeus from the Greeks that they dominated and ruled over. So yeah, Oda's been doing this shit forever. Peep game on how egregious the metatextual references are as well. When Ace, during his cover story, was hunting down Blackbeard, Oda decided to make it, hey, I'm gonna title this chapter Divina Commedia, which is directly referencing the Divine Comedy of Dante's descent into hell during Dante's Inferno, the Divine Comedy or Divine Tragedy, written by an Italian man exodused from his city. And what happened to Ace? And where did Luffy try to free him from? He busted into Impel Down, the place that is quite literally the direct reference visually to the Divine Comedy through its levels. If you play with the titles of chapter 540, 541, and 542, you can read it as another story to tell, infinite hell, the likes of which we have never seen.